Okay, ma. So the next chapter which we are studying is morphology of flowering plants, ma. So what is meant by morphology? Morphology means external structures are called as morphology. That is for your eyes, how this structure is looking like. This is called as morphology of a flowering plant. Very, very easy topic, ma. So there is nothing to by heart. There is nothing to compare here. So in classes, it was a continuous session of comparisons only. No, circulatory system we were comparing in all the 11 phyla. But this chapter is a very simple chapter, man. There are uh, no more points also to discuss. Very simple topic, and you will get mostly 2% from the chapter in the NEET examination. Clear? so see. So morphology is nothing but external features. Okay, ma'am. So morphology is the study of external forms of organization. Okay. So angiosperms, which are also called as flowering plants, are characterized by presence of roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. So these are the parts of flowering plants, which are also called as angiosperms. So what are the main parts of a flowering plant? A flowering plant, you can divide it into two parts. So one is the root system, second one is called the shoot system. What is meant by root system? The system which is present below the ground, that is called as root system, and the system which is present above the ground is called as shoot system. So basically, total plant body you can divide into two parts. So root system and shoot system. That's it. Clear, ma? Now here, if I take the overview of a plant, so this is the diagram which I can draw. So this one you can call it as the root system. Are you able to understand? Ma? And total system which is present above the ground, this one I can call it as the shoot system. Now what are the different parts of this plant which we have? First of all, you are able to see the primary root, no, ma? Primary root. See, ma, when you place a seed and when a seed germinates, so basically there will be two parts in the germinating seed. One is called a radicle, another one is called a plumule. Plumule. Are you able to understand, ma? So radicle moves downwards and it forms the root of the plant. This plumule moves upwards and it becomes the stem of the plant. Are you able to understand, ma? So this radicle, when it moves downwards, it becomes the primary root of this plant. So which one will become the primary root, ma? Radical becomes the primary root when a seed germinates. Are you able to understand? So this is called as a primary root. And what is meant by lateral root? Lateral root means these are small hair-like structures which grow on the primary root. So what is the use of this lateral root? Lateral roots, they increase the total surface area of the primary root. Are you able to understand, ma? They increase the total surface area so that root has more access to water and other nutrients which are present in the ground. Are you able to understand? So primary root, what it will do? It will increase the what to call surface area of the primary root. Are you able to understand, ma? So here. So primary root, it is originating from the radical, or you can say radical itself forms the primary root. So first organ to appear when a seed germinates. Are you able to understand, ma? So this radical is the first organ which you see in the seed when it is about to germinate. So lateral roots emerge from the primary root itself. Are you able to understand? And how they emerge? Generally, they emerge horizontally from the prime root. It means, for example, this is a primary root. So this one I can call it as the secondary root. Are you able to understand, or you can call them as lateral roots. So they are at an angle of 90 degrees to the primary root. So what is the use of them? They increase the surface area of the roots. So plants have more access to water and other nutrients which are required by the plant. Okay? Yes. Now similarly, what are the other systems which are present? Here you can see the stem. Here you can see the node. What is meant by this node? You can call it as axillary node also. What is another name for this kind of node, ma? This node you can call it as axillary node also. Okay. So these nodes are these starting points you can see at the starting of the leaves. Okay, ma? So this is the point from where leaf has originated. So from there only we have another origination, another starting point which is called as node. Okay, ma? So this has the ability to grow into another branch also. So this node, what it can do, it can grow into another branch also. So a starting point will be there, which is called as node, and this type of node we can call it as axillary node. What kind of node? Axillary node. Similarly, at the top we have another node which is called as apical node, which is also called as terminal node. Are you able to understand? Apical means what? Apex, which is present on the topmost position. Apical node. At that node also you can call it as terminal node, or you can call it as terminal buds also. Are you able to understand? Okay. So then, what is meant by internode? The distance between two nodes is called as internode. Distance between two nodes you can call it as internode. Are you able to understand? And this structure from which the leaf originates, that is called as petiole, and total surface area of the leaf, that you can call it as the blade, and the combination of the blade and the petiole is called as leaf. Are you able to understand more? So you should have seen petioles. No? From petiole only leaf originates. So this combination of leaf, or you can call the blade of the leaf and this petiole, combinedly both of them you can call it as the leaf. Okay, but that is called as leaf. So therefore, how I can write a leaf here? Leaf is nothing but blade plus petiole. This is called combinedly a leaf. Okay, ma? So these are some of the structures present in the plant. First of all, we are studying about root. Okay. So what is meant by root? Ma? It is the underground part formed from radical of the embryo. Already we have studied, no? From the embryo. First of all, radical originates, and that radical itself, it gets modified into the root. Okay. Next, types of roots. How many types of roots we have? So first one is called taproot system. It means total, there will be a main root. So this type of root will be present, which is a combination of a main root. So this type of root, if it is present, then it is called as taproot system. Carrot is a very good example of a taproot system type of plant only, no? So carrot, actually it is a root itself. Are you able to understand? So totally there is only one root, and above that one you can find the stems and the leaves. Okay. So this is called as a taproot system, and mostly you can find this taproot system in dicotyledonous plants. Which kind of plants you can see? Dicotyledonous plants. Okay, that we will study later. Next, fibrous root system. So total roots, they are divided into very small fibers. Okay, so this type of root system you can call it as fibrous root system. And the third type of root system is adventitious root system. What is meant by adventitious root system? So here, these roots, they are not originated from the radical. These roots, they are not originated from the radical. Beyond the radical, whatever may be the other part, and all those roots from where they are originated except radical, we can call them as adventitious root system. Are you able to understand now? So here I can write except radical. It means these roots, they are not originated from the radical. They may be originated from other parts like leaves, like stems, like that. Okay, ma? So here you can see this tree, where roots are originated from the branches itself. So they go and settle in the what you call soil, and they give support to this very huge tree. Okay, so this kind of roots you can call them as adventitious roots. So if there is one root, it is called taproot system. So hundreds of very small fine-like roots, if they are present, it is called fibrous root system. And if roots are originated other than radical, then they are called as adventitious root system. That's it. Next, first of all, we are discussing about taproot system. Okay, so it consists of primary roots, which is called as a taproot. It has some branches also, which is called as lateral roots, and secondary roots and tertiary roots. They come under lateral roots. Are you able to understand now? So secondary roots, tertiary roots, all of them, they come under the additional roots which are growing to this taproot. Okay. So where you see this taproot system, you see this taproot system in dicotyledonous type of plants. What is meant by dicotyledonous type of plants? So in the seed, you have two cotyledons. Seed is divided into two parts. Groundnut is one example. If you divide the groundnut, you can divide into two parts. So there will be one groundnut seed. If you take, it will be divided into two equal parts. So that kind of roots, that kind of seeds, you can call them as dicotyledonous seeds. So this taproot system primarily you will see in dicotyledonous roots, dicotyledonous type of plants. So primary root is the elongated from the radicle. Already we have studied. And what is the example of this one? Example of taproot system is mustard plant. Mustard is an example which is mentioned in the okay. So here you can see. So shoot, root, primary root, lateral root, root hairs, root tip and root cap. And what is meant by root cap we will study later. Okay, ma? Okay. Next we are studying about the second type of root system which is called as fibrous root system. So where you find this fibrous root system? You will find in monocotyledonous type of plants. In dicotyledons what you find? Taproot system. Monocotyledons you will find a fibrous system. So in monocotyledonous type of plants, so primary root is short lived and is replaced by a large number of roots. Okay, ma? So initially this radical is also a single radical only. Radical which is originated from the seed, it is a single radical only. But in the time being, by the passage of time, what happens to the single radical? This gets differentiated into hundreds and hundreds of fine thread-like structures which form the basis of this fibrous root system. Are you able to understand? It means initially it was also a single root. But as the time passes, what happens? This gets converted into multiple roots. Okay, but this type of system you can call it as fibrous root system. So this is the type of fibers which are present. Okay. So these roots originate from the base of the stem to form fibrous root system. And what is the example of this one, ma? The example is wheat. Mustard plant was the example of taproot system. Wheat is the example of fibrous root system. So if you take the plant of wheat and you observe the roots, you will find the roots to be like this. Fine. Okay. Okay, ma? So next we are discussing about adventitious root system. So roots that arise from parts other than radicle. So from the radical, only two types of roots can originate. What are they? One is taproot system, another one is the fibrous root system. If roots are originating from the stem or other parts of the plant, then they are called as adventitious root system. And examples, these examples are very, very, very important. Clear? So grass, monstera and banyan tree. Okay, so these are the examples of adventitious. So here you can see. So basically this is the stem noma. So from the stem also you are seeing small roots which are originating. So this is also a adventitious root system. Here, nama? And here you are seeing a very big banyan tree. So from the stem of the banyan tree, roots are originating and they are going into the ground. Are you able to understand? That's it. Okay, ma? So next, what are the different regions of the root that we are studying now? Okay. So first one is root cap. Okay, ma? Root cap will be present. Region of meristematic activity will be present. Region of elongation will be present. Region of maturation will be present. Root hairs will be present. So this is the different parts which we can divide the root of a plant. Are you able to understand? First one, root cap. So this structure which you are seeing here, this is called as the root cap. Okay, ma? So it behaves like the cap to the sensitive part of the plant. So definitely it is a root cap. Are you able to understand? Then you can see this region of meristematic activity. So this is a region where cells will divide. Here also cells will divide. 1 minute more. Okay. So then we have region of elongation. Then we have region of maturation. And finally we have the root hairs. So these are the different parts of this root. Are you able to understand? Okay. So next, what are the functions of this, each of these parts which we have mentioned that we will see. Okay, ma? First of all, root cap. So this one is the root cap. What is the function of this root cap? So it is the covering or the apex of the root. Okay, apex means the last part of the root. It protects the tender apex of the root. So the tender parts, the sensitive parts of the starting of the root, they are protected by this root cap. Okay, region of meristematic activity. So this region just above the root cap, this region we can call it as region of meristematic activity. What is the function of this meristematic root small? So this is seen just above the root cap. So here the cells are very small. The cells of which this region of meristematic activity is made up of, these cells are very small in size. So this is one important bit which can be asked. So smallest celled cells, where they are present? They are present in the region of meristematic activity. Clear, Nama? Thin walled. Walls of these cells are very thin. Clear? And with a dense protoplasm. It means the protoplasm which is present in each of the cells, it is very, very, very thick. Okay. Next, what is meant by protoplasm? Protoplasm means, so it is a combination of the cytoplasm, the living matter in the cell, as well as the nucleus and other organelles which are present. So there are many, many organelles. Mitochondria is present, chloroplast are present. Are you able to understand? So all of them, they form the other organelles of the cell. So therefore, cytoplasm, a combination of nucleus and other organelles, it is called as protoplasm. Okay. So therefore, in this region of meristematic activity, what kind of cells they are present? Cells are very small, walls are very thin, dense protoplasm is present, and they divide continuously. So repeated division happens in the case of meristematic cells. Are you able to understand? That's it. Okay, ma? Next, beyond above this meristematic region, you can find another region which is called as a region of elongation. Okay, ma? So in meristematic region, what was happening? Cells were dividing continuously. No? Let us see here what is happening. So the region just above the meristematic region is called as region of elongation. Okay, ma? So here cells undergo rapid elongation and enlargement. It means here the size of the cells continuously increases. Okay, ma? Very small cells, they are formed where? Chinna cells ekkada form avutayi. Very small cells, they are formed at the meristematic region. They are newly developed cells. No? They are newly developed cells. And when new cells, they are formed continuously. Old cells, they are displaced upwards. No? Old cells, they are displaced upwards. And that region will become the region of elongation. Okay, so here the size of the roots will size of the cells will continuously enlarge and the cells are elongated. So that is the region of elongation. Okay. So what is the use of this one? If the size of the cells increases, size of the root also increases. So therefore it is responsible for increasing the length of the root. Fine, ma? And then which is the last one? This is called as the region of maturation. Where you find this region of maturation? You will find this region above the region of elongation. Okay, let us see what is the work of this. So this region is proximal to elongation zone. Proximal means what? Proximity means what? It is very close to the elongation zone. So first one is root cap. No? First one is root cap. Above the root cap we have region of meristematic activity. Above that we have region of elongation. Above that we have this region of maturation. Are you able to understand? Ma? So here the cells differentiate and mature. Okay, ma? What is meant by cells differentiate and mature? What are the different kinds of cells that are required by the stem? All these cells, they are formed here. Okay, ma? So from here, root hairs also they will originate. Root hairs also will originate. Root hairs have another type of cells. So what is the type of cells required by the root cells? Root hairs. So those cells also they are manufactured in the this region which is called as region of maturation. Okay, ma? So here the different cells they are designed separately according to the requirement of the root. Are you able to understand, ma? Different parts of the root require different cells, ma? So all these cells they are designed where? They are designed in the region of maturation. Are you able to understand? So these are the main parts of the root, and root hairs also are all there. We will discuss them. Okay, ma? So therefore, newly formed cells, the cells mature into various types of primary tissues. Okay. So where this will happen? This will happen in the region of maturation, the topmost part of the root. Okay, that's it. Root heads. What is meant by root heads? We know, no? You can call them as a lateral roots also. So very fine, delicate, thread-like structures formed from epidermal cells in the region behind the region of elongation. Are you able to understand? Ma? So they absorb water and minerals from the soil. Very fine means what? Their diameter is very, very, very less. They are called as very fine. Clear, no? Ma? Diameter is very less, it is called fine. Delicate, very delicate. Thread-like structures. Fine also means the delicate or thread-like structures only. And where they are formed from the epidermal cells in the region behind the region of elongation. It means above the elongation region, you can find this root heads. Are you able to understand, ma? On the elongation region, you cannot find the root heads. Beyond the elongation region only, you can find the root heads. Clear, ma? So that's what here you see. No? Here you don't find any root heads. Only above them only you will find the root heads. Okay. And what is the work of them? They absorb water and minerals from the soil. That is the work. Their work is to increase the surface area of the roots. Already we discussed, So taproot system has lateral roots. Lateral roots have again fine thread-like structures. What is the purpose of all these lateral roots and the root heads? To increase the surface area of the roots so that more and more water and other nutrients are absorbed from the soil. Clear, no? That's it. So modifications of the root. Root is modified into how many kinds? So in every plant, you don't see the same type of root. No? So you see that the different roots are performing different actions. And what are those modifications that we are seeing? So in some plants, roots are modified to perform functions other than absorption and conduction. Are you able to understand? Ma? So not only the work of absorption and conduction. So these roots, they perform some another function also. What is they? So one type of modification is swollen roots. For what? For food storage. Clear, no? Prop roots. Okay. Stilt roots. Nematophores. So these are the four modifications of roots. We will study each of them in detail. Are you able to understand, ma? So first one is the swollen root. Second one is the prop root. Third one is the stilt root. And fourth one is the nematophores. So these are the four types of modifications of the root. So carrot, definitely you can say it is a swollen root only, no? Swollen root. Okay, so root is swollen and it becomes a media for storing the food. Okay, that's it. First one. So swollen roots for food storage. So tap roots of carrot, turnips, and adventitious roots of sweet potato. Are you able to understand, ma? So they come under what kind of roots, ma? They come under swollen roots. Okay. So even the adventitious roots of sweet potato also, they fall under which category? They fall under swollen roots. Okay, ma? See, adventitious roots, they are formed from the radicle. They are not formed from the radicle, but still they form the swollen type of roots. Because adventitious roots also, they are a kind of roots only, no? And they are also swollen to store the food material. Are you able to understand, ma? So tap roots of carrot and turnips and adventitious roots of sweet potato, they are the examples of what kind of roots, ma? Swollen roots for food storage. Okay, ma? So these are carrots, these are turnips, and these are the sweet potato. Fine. Okay. So next we are discussing about prop roots. So hanging structures that support a banyan tree, they are called as adventitious roots also, and they are called as prop roots also. Are you able to understand, ma? So hanging structures that support banyan tree. So what is the meaning of this one? These adventitious roots, they are modified for support. They are modified for what? They are modified for supporting. And when they are supporting the plant, then that type of roots we can call them as prop roots. So that is the difference between adventitious roots and prop roots. Are you able to understand, ma? So every prop root is an adventitious root, but every adventitious root is not a prop root. That is the difference. Are you able to understand? Adventitious roots, if they are responsible for supporting, then those roots we can call them as prop roots. But other adventitious roots, they can be used for storing food also. No? Them you cannot call them as prop roots. That's the difference. Adventitious roots, if they are responsible for supporting the plant, then they are called as prop roots. That is the difference. Clear, Nama? Next we study about stilt roots. So these are the roots which come just above the main roots, and they are also responsible for supporting. Are you able to understand? So the supporting roots coming out of the lower nodes of the stem. It means that these roots they are present above the main roots. Main roots will be present, above the main roots. You can find this kind of structures. Okay, ma? And what is the use of them? They are responsible for supporting the main plant body. Okay, and what is the example of stilt roots, ma? Maize and sugar cane. So, for example, if you go to a plantation of sugar cane, you will see that these kind of roots are present. So you will be confused that maybe soil erosion has taken place and you are able to see the roots. So that is not the system actually. These are an additional set of roots. These are additional set of roots which are formed to the lower nodes of the stem, or you can say that they are present above the main root system. Clear, ma? So examples are what? Stilt roots examples are maize and sugar. So these are the two examples. Clear, ma? Foods. So these roots that come out of the ground and grow vertically upwards to get oxygen for respiration. So these kind of different kind of roots you can call them as nematophodes. Example is rhizophora growing in swampy areas. Okay, ma? Swampy means where there is a lot of wet area or where more water is present. So here you can see this different types of roots you are able to see here, Nama. So these are the roots which you are seeing here. So these roots, they come out of the soil. Actually roots, they go inside the soil, but they come out of the soil. And what is the use of them? They are useful for absorbing oxygen for respiration. So these type of roots, modified roots, you can call them as nematophodes. Clear? So rhizophora is an example, and which you see in swampy areas. Okay. So next, functions of the roots. So what are the different functions the root performs? So absorption of water and minerals from the soil. This we know. Provide a proper anchorage to the plant. It means it is responsible for a plant to be present at one position. It behaves like an anchor. So anchorage. Storage of reserve food material. So some of the roots, they store the food also, no ma? So storage of reserve food material. Synthesis of plant growth hormones. Okay, ma? So for plant to grow, some regulating factors like hormones are responsible, no ma? So some of these hormones, they are produced inside the roots also. Are you able to understand? So these are some of the advantages of root. So absorbing water and nutrients, supported to the plant, anchorage to the plant, storing of additional food material, and synthesizing or producing the plant growth regulators. Fine, ma? That's it. So next we study about stem. So what is meant by stem here? So here he gave the definition. Let us clear, ma? So it is the ascending part of the axis that develops from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed. So already we discussed that in a germinating seed, first of all you will see two parts, no ma? One is a radicle which comes downwards. Second one is a plumule which moves upwards. Are you able to understand? Radicle will form the root system. Plumule will form the shoot system. So here you can write. Okay, ma? So radicle, what it forms? Radicle forms the root system. Okay. Plumule. Plumule will form the shoot system. Are you able to understand? So see here. So it is the ascending part of the axis that develops from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed. So this stem, what does it bear? It bears branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, buds, nodes, and internodes. Okay, already we have studied about all of them. So let us see in the figure. So root is present, stem is present, flower, fruit, and leaf. Okay, ma? Then inside of this germinating seed, what are the different parts you are seeing? Cotyledon. First of all, it can be a monocotyledon or it can be a dicotyledon. Okay, ma? Then you will find the radicle. You are seeing the shape of the radicle, no, ma? So this one we can call is the radicle. Clear? Next, hypocotyledon. Next structure is hypocotyl. And next one is this plumule which moves upwards. And on the seed you have the seed coat. Fine. So these are the different parts which are present in the germinating seed. Now if I go to the stem, this already we have studied, Nama. So these parts already we have studied. Okay. Then, so next he is defining what is meant by nodes. So nodes are regions of the stem where leaves are born. Are you able to understand, ma? So nodes are the regions where you will find the leaves. So internodes are the positions between two nodes. So for example, here you can see, Nama, this is one node and this is another node. So this distance between two nodes is called as internode. That is called as an internode. So young stem is generally green and latter often becomes woody and dark brown. So this you should have observed, Nama, when seed germinates, what is the color of the germination? Green color. So even for some weeks also, the basic stem, the primary stem which is formed, it is green in color. Then as the time passes by, it becomes a bigger tree and it becomes woody and it becomes dark brown. This also we know. Clear, no? Okay. So next, functions of the stem. What are the functions of the stem, ma? Spreading out branches bearing leaves, flowers and fruits. It conducts water, minerals and photosynthesis. What is meant by photosynthesis? The micronutrients which are required for photosynthesis, they are called as photosynthesis. Okay, ma? So some stems help in food storage, support, protection and vegetative propagation. What is meant by vegetative propagation? So it is a reproduction process. The process of reproduction through the stems or other sexual parts is called as, other asexual parts is called as vegetative propagation. Are you able to understand, ma? So you will find that the stem can perform these many things. First one you know very well. This also you know it conducts water, minerals and other photosynthesis. And it is responsible for food storage also, protection also and vegetative propagation also. So these are the points which you should be careful about. Fine, ma? Okay. So here you can see the transport system in the case of stem, no, ma? Transport system of a plant is made up of what? It is made up of xylem and phloem, which we will discuss in the upcoming classes. Fine? Okay. So modifications of the stem. Okay, ma? So we have studied roots are modified into 4 types. Roots can be modified into 4 types. So swollen roots, prop roots, stills roots, nematophores, all we have studied. Similarly, stems also can be modified. And stems can be modified into what? They can be modified for food storage, stem tendrils, thorns, phylloclades, stolon, offset and suckers. So these are the different modifications which are possible in the case of a stem. Are you able to understand? Let us study each of them in detail. So modifications of the stem for food storage. So example, underground stems of potato, ginger, turmeric, zameenkand, colocasia, etc. So these are the modified stems, they are not roots. They are the stems itself, but they are modified for storing the food material. Are you able to understand? Carrot is a root or a stem? Carrot is a root. Potato, is it a root or a stem? Potato is a stem. So you should not be confused here. Okay, ma? So root also can be modified for the food storage. Stem also can be modified for food storage. And what are the examples of stem modification to store the food? Potato, ginger, turmeric, zameenkand, colocasia, etc. So all these are modified stems only for storing the food material. Okay, ma? So they also act as organs of perennation to tide over conditions unfavorable for growth. What is meant by organs of perennation? Organs of storage, that's all. Perennation is nothing but storage. So it means that when unfavorable conditions come, unfavorable conditions means when plant has to pass through summer season where there is a very less chance of availability of water. Are you able to understand, ma? Then the energy, the store which is stored in the form of these stolen roots, that will help the plant for its survival. Are you able to understand, ma? So therefore, when conditions are unfavorable, the plant will again utilize the food already stored in the modified stem. Are you able to understand, ma? So these are some of the advantages of modified stem for food storage. So figures you can see here, Nama: potato tuber, ginger rhizome, turmeric zameen kind corn, colocasia corn. Clear? That's it. Next is, so second modification is stem. Okay, sorry, second modification is stem tendrils. So slender and spirally coiled structures developed from axillary buds. Okay, ma? So these plants help to climb. Example is gourds, cucumber, pumpkin, watermelon, and grapevines. Okay, ma? So from the axillary buds, you would have seen this kind of structures, no? In some of the plants. These spring-like structures, they are responsible for supporting the plant because their stem is very weak. Are able to understand, ma? Stems of some of these plants, it is very weak. It cannot go straight by itself. It has to take the help of somebody, so that it continuously crawls over that structure and it settles on that structure. Are able to understand, ma? So that kind of stem modification, we can call it as stem tendrils. So they are responsible for crawling also, that is for supporting also, supporting the plant also. And you can see is responsible for climbing also. Okay, what are the examples of these? Gourds are an example. Pumpkin gourd, cucumber gourd, watermelon, grapevines, like this. Fine, ma? So grape trees also, you don't find any stems for them, no? Even for betel leaves also. The leaves which you use for making bida, they are called betel leaves, no? So betel leaves also, they don't have any strong stem. They are made up of what you call this tendrils also only. Fine, ma? That's it. Clear? So next here. So what is meant by axillary bud? Already we have studied, Nama. Already we have studied about axillary buds. Next, the next type of modification is a thorn. Thorns also you can see for some trees, Nama. Thorns. This is also a type of modified stem itself. So woody, straight and pointed structures developed from the axillary buds is called as stem. So they protect plants from browsing animals. What is meant by browsing animals? The animals which depend on tree for their food is called as browsing animals. Cows, goats, sheep, like this. So examples of trees which are having thorns are citrus and bougainvillea. Clear, ma? So these are the two examples of the modified stem into thorns. Fine. So next we study about phylloclades. Clear, ma? What is meant by phylloclades? The next type of modification. So it is a green flattened or fleshy cylindrical stem containing chlorophyll for photosynthesis. Are you able to understand, ma? See here, the stem is itself modified into the food manufacturing facility. Able to understand? They are responsible for producing food. So some of the plants, they don't have leaves, ma. Only stems are present. So through stems only they manufacture their food material through the process of photosynthesis. So this type of plants you can call them as phylloclades. Okay. So green, flattened or fleshy cylindrical stem containing chlorophyll for photosynthesis. It's found in some plants of arid regions where you find arid type of climate. There you find this phylloclade plants. Okay, ma? Examples are Opuntia, and it has what kind of stem? Flattened stem. Okay, ma? So this is an example of a flattened stem. Okay, ma? So stem is like this, and it is very flat. It has only area. Thickness is very small. Second one is Euphorbia. Are you able to understand, ma? Which is having what kind of stem? This kind of a cylinder type of stem is present for this. Okay. See, ma, here both the structures you are seeing green in color, no? Green color indicates that the stems have chlorophyll, and through the chlorophyll they are able to produce their own food material. Are you able to understand? So here the fruits which you are seeing, no, ma, these red color fruits, so they are very very tasty to eat. Have you eaten? Tinnara eppudaina? Bhale untayi, very very tasty. But a very small thorn will be there inside that fruit, and it's quite dangerous. So you should be very careful about that thorn. Otherwise, the fruit is very tasty. Okay, open share. Next, stolon. What is meant by stolon, Sima? This is called as a stone. This structure which you are seeing here, that is called as a stolon. Clear? So it is a slender lateral branch that arises from base of the main axis, and after growing aerially for some time, arch downwards to touch the ground. Are you able to understand, ma? What is the meaning of this one? Where it is originated from, ma? It is originated from the base of the main axis, that is base of the main stem, and after growing aerially for some time, it means it grows in air for some time, then it bends towards the ground and it enters the ground. Are you able to understand, ma? So from we'll see another plant is developing here. Are you able to understand? So this kind of stem modification you can call it as stolon. Okay. Example are mint and jasmine. Mint tree, you know, no? Mint tree and jasmine tree. Are you able to understand? No? So these are the two examples where you can find stolon type of modified stem. Okay. Next, offset. What is meant by offset? It is a lateral branch with a short internodes and each node bearing a rosette of leaves and a tuft of roots. Okay, ma? So aquatic plants like Pistia and Eichhornia. So these are the two examples of offset type of modified stem. Clear, no, ma? So it is also a lateral branch, ma, with the short internodes. Short internodes means what? The distance between two nodes is very small. That is called as short internodes. And each node bearing a rosette of leaves and a tuft of roots. At every node, what you see some leaves and you see some roots also. Are you able to understand? Ma? It means at each node, it is behaving like a different plant. Okay, but they are all combined to become only one plant only. But it behaves as if it is developing into many plants. Are you able to understand, ma? So examples are Pistia and Eichhornia. Okay, ma? So this language you should remember. Ma. At the offset, what you will find? So rosette of leaves and a tuft of roots. That is the language used in the book. Okay, ma? So this is what you see. So this is the offset. Okay, ma? So these are the roots and these are the leaves. Okay, so here he gave some more also in Pistia, this one. In Eichhornia, you can see root packets are present. Okay, ma? And swollen petiole is present. Spongy stem is present. Lamina is present, which are not mentioned in the NCERT. Are you able to understand, ma? So that's it. Okay. So next modification is suckers. So what is meant by suckers? It is the lateral branch that originate from the basal underground portion of the main stem. So where they are undergoing, they are undergoing from the bottommost part of the main stem itself. It grows horizontally beneath the soil and come out obliquely upward, giving rise to leafy shoots. Okay, ma? Example is banana, pineapple, and chrysanthemum. Okay, ma? So what is the meaning of this one, Sima, here? So you can see this, what you call banana plant. No? So it is not made up of main plant. It is made up of another stem, which is called as a sucker, which originates from the base of the main stem. It originates, it goes underground, and it comes somewhere out of the ground. There you will see another new leaves which are originated. It means it appears as if another plant has grown there. Are you able to understand? But actually it has originated from the main stem of the another plant. So that type of plant you can call them as suckers. And what are the examples of them? Banana, pineapple, and chrysanthemum are the examples of suckers. Okay, ma? That's it. So here you will see banana, this is pineapple, and this is the chrysanthemum. Are you able to understand? So this is about the different types of modified roots. So underground stems of some plants, example grass and strawberry, spread to new niches, and when older parts die, new plants are formed. Are you able to understand, ma? So what is the example he gave? Grass and strawberry. Are you able to understand? So these roots, they will be moving continuously under the ground, and new plants will be originating from the grass. So in the process, what will happen? Older plants, they will die. New plants, they will live as usual. That's what he's saying here. Are you able to understand? That's it. Okay. So next one is leaf, ma. We will try to continue this one in the next class. Fine. Okay. So I will send you this one by Monday. This also you have to show.